everybody, Chris Roberts here with Sterling Rhino Capital, and today I want to talk about some of the roadblocks that you can come across when you're closing your deal, especially in a COVID environment. And this particular topic relates directly to the Freddie Mac loans, basically agency debt, which is usually held in the highest regard, usually the best rates and the debt you want, but in the COVID era is going to require some additional barriers to overcome, like extra reserves and things of that sort. So I see you can tell I'm in my vehicle. I am not driving. I'm actually on a ferry in the Seattle, Washington area, heading over to a different part of the mainland. And I figured I'd take a second and touch base on some of the roadblocks I incurred. So we were closing a deal recently, and within the last couple of weeks, several things came up. There were, I guess, 3 or 4 revisions to the engineer's report, of which I had not seen. And as we got to the end of the finish line, they came back and had required some additional reserves, which were a little bit over $100,000. We had planned on doing some of these renovations anyway, so it wasn't that big a deal, but we didn't want them to control our funds. And at this point, we really didn't have a choice. So they came in and made us put an additional $15,000 in reserves in. Again, fortunately, we had overraised, we were in great shape, and we planned on replacing those things, so not a problem. But be aware, you might want to have a little extra money in the coffer when you're closing a deal, because they can come back at the last minute and do whatever they want. They also came back at the very last minute, I think it was 36 hours before closing, and decided to take away 1 year of our interest only. So we had 24-month interest only debt, and they just decided they were going to take away 12 months for absolutely no reason. We even offered to offer some concessions in other places, but they weren't having it. They took it, and that was the end of that. There were a couple other little last-minute tightening ups that were a bit frustrating, but we got on the phone with our brokers and negotiated pretty hard at the end. And what Freddie ended up doing was giving us an additional $45,000 in proceeds at a 3.87 interest rate. But then they also lowered 0.4 basis points to get us down to 3.84. And then the lenders brokers also gave some concessions and dropped their price. I think it was about $4,500 in fees, a little bit. So that was extremely helpful. And I just want you to be aware that just because you're getting close to the finish line, literally within 36 hours, they can come in and change whatever they want, regardless of the rate sheet you signed or any agreements you might have previous to that. So be aware of that. Make sure you have plenty of reserves and you're ready for any potential outcome, especially as it relates to debt. Don't ever get comfortable and think that you're in great shape, because things can change on a moment's notice. I hope this tip was helpful about Freddie Mac and the COVID era lending and how things can change. If you like the video, please like us and share with your friends. Appreciate your time today and hope you all have a fabulous day.